All right, chapter 3. We're probably getting the hang of this whole flip classroom thing by now, so let's go. All right, so we're starting with some vocabulary. We're going to do equivalent expressions. This would be algebraic expressions on both sides of an equal sign that are equal. So that means everything's going to be balanced. Sometimes I've heard teachers say, do unto one side of the equal sign as you do to the other. That way they stay equal. You don't want to do just one side because then the thing would tilt sideways. So an equivalent expressions would be these. 4 squared, or 2 to the 4th power would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is also equal to 16. Those are all equivalent expressions. Another one would look like this, where there's 2b and a 1b as 3 b's, 2 c's and 5 c's would be 7 c's. So they can either split up or together, but these two are both equal. Okay, the distributive property, this is really where this is going to kind of start applying to. So our distributive property is you multiply a number by a sum, and you multiply each number inside the parentheses by the number outside the parentheses. See what that actually looks like. It looks more like this. So if I have a number on the outside and I want on the and 2 on the inside, I'm going to distributively multiply it by both of these. So then it would turn into both of those together with a plus sign in the middle, and there'd be no more parentheses. You could have the number on the other side. That's also possible. I've also been a fan of this whole arrows things. So I usually go over like that, which is fine. So 3 times 4 plus 3 times 2 is 3 times 4 plus 3 times 2. And then that would turn into 12 plus 6, which would turn into 18 if you added it all together. Same concept over here. All right, so here's how this would look like with kind of a rectangular thing. It's just kind of a visual illustration of it. Some people love it, some people don't. I'm a visual learner, therefore I love it, so I show it to you guys. So to find the area of a rectangle, you multiply length and width. So you can find the total area of these two rectangles, there's a blue and a yellow one coming, in 2 different ways. So I have a blue rectangle and a yellow rectangle. I can say this is length or height and width. I can multiply 3 times 4, and then there's also a height here of 3 times 2. So this is a way to think of the distributive property. This side multiplied by this side multiplied by this, puts them together, and then you add them together. Another way to do that would be you could actually separate the two out. So instead of keeping it in this format, we actually put a little more step in here, and this works for some people, and that's fine. They took the 3 and the 4, and they took 3 and 4, and they put a plus symbol in between. So 3 times 4 would be this length times width, and then 3 times 2 would be this length times width. That's going to equal 12 plus 6, which equals 18. All right, so let's see what this actually looks like in some homework problems. Use a distributive property to write 4 times the quantity 5 plus 8. So as an equivalent expression, so we need to make sure it still equals the same as this, and then we're going to evaluate the expression. So first we're going to distribute. Go 4 times 5, 4 times plus 4 times 8. We're going to multiply those two out, which will be 20 and 32. Then we'll evaluate them together to add. And after that, that should be it. That is our answer. So this is our evaluate the expression. All right, let's try another one. Same concept. So now we've put the constant on, or the number on the right side instead of the left. Doesn't matter which side it's on, but most of the time it ends up on the left. All right, so first we distribute 2 times 9, 2 times 6, 6 times 2, 9 times 2. They just did it that way. I would have gone this way. That's just my preference. You can do whichever way you want because they are equal. So 6 times 2 is going to be 12. 9 times 2 is going to be 18. Then I'm going to add the two together. Should be 30. And there's our answer. All right, pause this one and give them a shot. All right, so we're going to distribute 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 2, it's going to be 6. Yeah, I skipped a step there. Add those together would be 33. Okay, going backwards here, I'll do all the steps this time. 3 times 5 would be 3 times 5. Plus, we're going to go that one to that one. 5 times 7 would be 35 plus 15, which is going to be 50. Oh, so they did want us to actually write that out here. So when it says write each as an equivalent expression, they do want this written out, then evaluate the expression. So if they say this exact instructions, this is how you do it on your homework. That's most of the time how it turns out. There we go. All right. North County Rivers of York, Maine offers a one-day whitewater rafting trip to the Kennebec. I don't know how to say that. I've probably messed it up. A trip costs $69 per person, and wetsuits are $15 each. Write 2 equivalent expressions to find the total cost of one trip for a family of 4 if each person uses a wetsuit. All right, so 1, we can find the cost of one person and then multiply it by 4. So we take 69 plus 15 and multiply that by 4 afterwards. So the cost of one person would be these two, and then we multiply that total by 4. The other one is we could find the cost of 4 trips and 4 wetsuits and then add them together. So this is where we would distribute, or actually they just wrote it out before, and the cost of 4 trips would be 4 times 69. The cost of 4 wetsuits would be 4 times 15. So evaluate either expression and find the total cost. So we could either use the distributive property to put them out. Here's our 2 expressions that we could use. And then we add them, multiply those out, add them together, 336. So the total cost would be $336. Check your results by evaluating 4 times 84. 84 is 69 and 15 together. So they actually just did 69 and 15 and then multiplied by 4. It should come out the same. All right, pause this one, give it a shot. All right, the cost of a movie ticket is $7 and the cost of a box of popcorn is $2. Write 2 equivalent expressions to find the total cost of a family of 5 going to the movies. So I'd probably start this out with 5 people, and if the movie there's a $7 ticket and a $2 popcorn, wow, that would be nice. Actually, both those would be nice. So there's one option. The second option would be to do each one 5 times 7 plus 2. Oh, sorry, let's do it this way. 5 and 2. Either way works. To find the total cost, it would be 35 plus, and I'm just distributing, 35 and 10, so $45. Man, love to have 2 people going to the movies now costs $45. Use a distributive property to write 2 times the quantity x plus 4 as an equivalent algebraic expression. The only reason this is different is because x is in there. That's why it's an algebraic expression instead of evaluate the expression. So same basic concepts. First we're going to distribute. I'm going to multiply the 2 times x, 2 times 4. Then we're going to tag those together, 2x, and then evaluate these, 8. And that should be as far as we can go. All right, use the distributive property to do the one that's backwards. Only difference is they put the number on the right. So we're going to distribute the other way. Y times 6 and 3 times 6 should be 6y coming down, and 6 times 3 is 18, and that's as far as we can go. All right, pause these, give it a shot. Okay, so we'll start with the first one. It would be 4m distribute 4m, and then distribute again would be plus 28. We'll do all the steps down here. So we'll go p times 5 would be 5 times p plus 3 times 5. So it'd be 5p plus 15. Right, use the distributive property to write this one. The only thing you got to worry about now, there's a negative symbol or in there. So they want us to rewrite it with a positive number in here using the additive inverse, and then distribute across. Okay, then we'll distribute 4 into both of them, then multiply. 4 times x minus a negative 8. We'll simplify that out by taking out that number there. I'd be totally okay if you guys just skipped this step and just went 4 times x. 4 times negative 2 is a negative 8 for x. I'd be totally okay with that. But if you need to do this, by all means do it, if that makes more sense to you. All right, same thing, more negative signs. All right, so they like us to, again, write it out with a negative inverse so that the one in here is a plus a negative 3. So we distribute. Then we evaluate them together. So negative times a negative will be a positive, so positive 6. Negative times a positive ends up being a negative. And that's as far as that one goes. Try these in your notes, or actually in your notes, and then put them into Edpuzzle. All right, going across here, I'm going to do this one the quicker way. 2 times a is 2a. 2 times a negative 9 would be a negative 18 because it's a positive times a negative. All right, down here, we'll do the whole thing out here. So they want us to rewrite it first. Negative 7, b plus a negative 3. Then we distribute, so negative 7 times b plus negative 7 times negative 3. So negative 7, sorry, I like a line through them, I forgot that. Negative 7 times b will be negative 7b, plus negative times a negative is a positive. So positive 21. That's it. See you in class.